Your latest news update from Western Mass News.
Chris Pisano with a look at your headlines. We're learning more about the illegal sports bets placed at MGM Springfield earlier this month. We now know more than $1,000 in illegal wagers were placed on Harvard basketball games because the school was incorrectly listed as an out-of-state school. The Mass Gaming Commission met Thursday to discuss the findings from their investigation about why these illegal bets were allowed to take place at MGM Springfield. The Springfield police seized a ghost gun, more than 20 grams of crack cocaine, and nearly 200 bags of heroin during a search on Beacon Street. While preparing to execute search warrants on 26-year-old Rafael Villanueva Colon's Beacon Street apartment, police saw him get into a car, so they quickly conducted a traffic stop in his driveway. He was found in possession of crack cocaine and nearly 200 bags of heroin in his sweatshirt. During the search of his apartment, police also found a ghost gun, ammunition, and more than $5,000 cash. Springfield police arresting a man in connection with a deadly crash last May. Officers arrested 44-year-old Alex Rankins of Springfield in connection with a crash on May 20th at the intersection of Boston Road and Barber Street. Police said Rankins was the driver of a car that struck a motorcycle. The operator of that motorcycle was rushed to Bay State Hospital with injuries and eventually died. Rankins is charged with motor vehicle homicide by negligent operation.
I'm meteorologist Jana Brown with a check of your forecast. We are dealing with a little bit of freezing rain and sleet out there early tonight, but overnight will start drying out. Temperatures may actually climb a little bit through Friday morning, leading to maybe an easier morning commute in terms of road conditions. We'll actually get some sunshine on tap for Friday, too. Partly cloudy skies for the valley. Temperatures will hover around freezing in the morning and then drop back into the 20s throughout the afternoon. Gusty wind out of the northwest picking up, and we could get some peak gusts late morning, early afternoon, around 40 miles an hour in the valley and around 50 miles an hour in the Berkshires and hill towns where we have a winter wind advisory. Now, Saturday and Sunday looking like a fairly cloudy weekend. It's going to be cold Saturday, early morning temperatures in the single digits with wind chills around 0 and a few flurries or a snow shower possible into the afternoon. Sunday a touch milder with a high of 36, and then we're up to 38 Monday. But we're tracking our next storm, which actually looks to be a snowstorm Monday night into Tuesday. Following that, staying unsettled and seasonable to wrap up the week.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.